I want to talk about something that we can't seem to fix, and that is our judiciary, our executive, and the relationship that, frankly, to me, as I love government. I love our history as a democracy. I was a political science major in college. They did not prepare me at all at Marquette University for the political environment we are in right now. I don't know if anybody's been prepared for this because today, I'm glad that this happened, but I'm shocked that it had to happen. When you think about Supreme Court justices, they speak through their rulings. They're not usually out there doing, I don't know, in the modern era, you got one of them like on Broadway. You got some of them are giving talks that, I liked it better when they were mysterious. Just make your rulings. But the integrity of the court has become a political hot potato. And it's always been sort of questioned. If you don't like their rulings, you go after the people, right? They're hacks, they're partisan, they're this. Over the last couple of months, the number of times that Donald Trump or Elon Musk has called for judges to be impeached is astonishing. And I think to a certain degree, I don't know, Dan, it makes me think, are Americans so easily manipulated by the partisan political winds that they're like, yeah, that sounds right. We should impeach justices. Or do you think people maybe just don't get it? That in the political world, if you don't like someone's decision, well, you can vote them out of office. That's how we used to do it, right? In the judicial world, it feels like you have no recourse, but really you do. It's called the appeal. There are a lot of wackadoo decisions that come from goofnut judges. There always have been. And then it goes to the appellate court, and then it goes to the Supreme Court. And so you get these multiple shots to kind of prove your point. Calling for an impeachment, saying that a judge needs to be kicked out of office because you don't like their ruling. You probably don't like one of their rulings, right? This is not based on like any sort of real survey of their decisions. You don't like their ruling in case Q that's in front of the public today. And so you say impeach. I can't decide if people are just ignorant about the way this maybe should be separate and should be different.
I mean, I'm
Or
loath.
if people are just fed up with
Yeah.
it. I don't know.
I get it. I'm loath to underestimate the average voter, right? I think there's way too much in our politics of saying this person disagrees with me. Clearly, they're a moron, or they think differently about this political issue or that political issue. They're a bad person.
Yeah.
They're only doing it because
Yeah.
they're manipulated by the media. Yada, 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 all this nonsense. I dislike that
Yep.
intensely. I do think that we have a problem in this country of politicizing everything, that everything has to be seen first through a political lens. And that's culturally, that's entertainment, that's obviously politics, that's government. And so, yes, now what you have is a body in the Supreme Court that's designed to be apolitical. It's designed to be a check against politics that is being accused on every single ruling it makes of being precisely that, being precisely political. And it goes in every direction, right? When you had Roe versus, Wade overturned, the court was horribly conservative and it was evil people who hated women and that kind of stuff. When the Supreme Court ruled against Trump and Amy Coney Barrett was the deciding vote, or was one of the deciding votes, MAGA went after her with pitchforks and torches.
Yeah.
She's a traitor. She's horrible. She's this, she's that. People that were full-throated in favor of her when she was up for nomination now think she's a Democratic plant. She's actually a liberal because
Based on one ruling.
So I think that this is a symptom of a larger problem, I guess is what I'm trying to get at, that we think first politically and second everything else. And I don't think that has anything to do with intelligence or how much people are paying attention. I just think that's the cultural air we're breathing right now.
Maybe. I think that people generally aren't like all that educated about the judiciary, and I'm not blaming people for that, but I don't think that I don't think it's surprising that the average person maybe doesn't fully get how gross and undemocratic it is to be calling for the impeachment of judges because you don't like their ruling. The president of the United States, Donald Trump feels like he has been victimized by the judicial system. I would say that Donald Trump did all of this to himself, but just like most victims, this is the bit that you keep drumming because you can't face the reality that maybe you screwed up. The True Social post, perhaps, that got the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to say, like, enough. President Trump, this radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker and agitator who was sadly appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, was not elected president. He didn't win the popular vote by a lot. He didn't win 2,750 to 525 counties. He didn't win anything. I won for many. Bop, 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 bop. You're like, oh, Trump, man, you are a nut. You're like, just stop. You're like the high school quarterback who won the state championship and you can't stop telling everybody about it. Instead of just hold up your trophy. This judge, like many of the crooked judges I am forced to appear before, should be impeached. Now, the facts of the legal case don't matter. I'm not really talking about it because it doesn't matter. You do have recourse in this country if you don't like a judge's decision. In the history of this country, 8 federal judges have been impeached, convicted, and removed. In the history of the country, impeachment should be for guys like this state senator who get arrested for trying to have sex with a 16-year-old. Egregious criminal behavior, egregious personal behavior. Disagree with the ruling, appeal it, fight it. But this idea that we need to impeach, now all of a sudden you have every judge worried that Donald Trump's coming for them. You know what that feels like? It feels like a king instead of a president as part of a governmental system that was set up with checks and balances. Of all the things you can look at Donald Trump, and we point out some of the good policies and good things, but man, he just can't control himself. And Elon Musk has been beating this drum as well. The head of the Supreme Court issued a very rare statement. He issued a statement in 2018 defending the integrity of the federal court and federal judges. And today, he said, for more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision.